are no problems for me. So I accompanying my students here. It would be better if we can show some light on the properties which are not sold and kept aside. What really the association of the real estate people are planning to do unsold properties. We have quite large number of percentages increasing every day unsold properties. So we can share something like that or the reasons towards that probably we can think of. Right?
Sure. Can we start now? So are you all from civil engineering or different engineering? Those who are in civil engineering technicians, raise your hands. Oh, everybody is civil engineering. Okay, very good.
Sir, what mindset we should have as an engineer? So what sort of mindset we should have as an engineer in a developed country?
Okay, we'll take up questions afterwards.
Ashish, it will be very difficult for some water because we are not able to go away in the middle of the session, right? Providing water to the is
Good evening and a warm welcome to everyone present. It gives me immense pleasure to stand before you and welcome all of you to this keynote session conducted by IIT. Today we have the privilege of hearing from one of the most respected and accomplished names in the field of business and real estate, Dr. Hiranandani. Dr. Hiranandani is a renowned entrepreneur, investor and philanthropist and has made significant contributions to the real estate industry of India. I would also like to extend a special welcome to our esteemed professors who have taken the time out of their busy schedules to be with us. Their presence today is a testament of their commitment to advancing the field of engineering and inspiring the next generation of engineers. I request the faculty advisors and the ACAR overall coordinators to please extend a warm welcome to Dr. Hiranandani. Dr. Hiranandani is a man who does not need an explicit introduction. He is the co-founder and the managing director of the Hiranandani Group. A true real estate tycoon, he has built one of the most successful real estate businesses in the country and in the world. I am certain that we will all benefit greatly from the knowledge and experience that Dr. Hiranandani will share with us today. So, without further ado, let's get started and make most of the wonderful opportunity to learn from one of the best in the world. I would like to invite Dr. Hiranandani to take this.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you very much for all the organizers, introducers, to the faculty. Thank you for being over here. And it's wonderful to speak to young people who are the future generation of the progress of our country. Somebody asked me at a very young age, when I was just getting into the business of business, the future of housing kya hai? And today, this man, what's your name? Okay, he asked me the same question, that what is the future? Because people are not looking at civil engineering so much, but they are looking at different sorts of engineering that is now being thought about. So what's really the future of real estate industry? But हमें एक चीज याद रखनी है, और वो है कि लोगों की जरूरत रोटी, कपड़ा और
मकान।
तो लोगों को कुछ भी नहीं करे तो मकान की रोटी आज की तारीख में हमने सरप्लस किया है. We have created surpluses of food in India ever since 1972 during Lal Bahadur Shastri's time, and we have always had surpluses of food. Even during COVID time, we were as a country able to take care of food. कपड़ा सबको मिल रहा है, किसको कम मिल रहा है, किसको हल्का मिल रहा है, कुछ मिल रहा है, लेकिन हर एक को कपड़ा मिल रहा है. लेकिन मकान की हालत क्या है? और जो आपने प्रश्न पूछा, what is the future of our industry in terms of the civil engineering side? So let me share with you that the scope of civil engineering in the future, in the next 10 years, is humongous. Bombay जैसे शहर में, मुंबई जैसे शहर में, only one city, which is considered the richest cities in India, 50% of the population lives in Jhopatpatti. All that in the next 20 years will get redeveloped. That means 50% of Mumbai alone is going to get redeveloped. Let's look at infrastructure that is there, which civil engineers are all about. In the last 60 years, we had 190 kilometers of railway. Western Railway, Central Railway, and Harbour Line in the Mumbai region was 190 kilometers. In the next 3 years, we are going to add 330 kilometers of metro. 330 kilometers in the next 2 years. We are adding a bridge, which is the MTHL bridge, which is a 22-kilometer bridge across the sea. First time in India that we are making 22 kilometers of bridge across the sea, the harbour, to connect the island city of Bombay to the mainland. So, all that is taking place. The coastal road on the western side of Mumbai is another thing where we are going to take up that part. We are also doing the bullet train from Ahmedabad to Mumbai. And we are now completing the connect in the next 2 years, connecting the western, connecting Ahmedabad to Mumbai by a bullet train, which will be done in the next 5 years. All these require civil engineers. So the future in respect of civil engineering is extremely bright. And the future is great. So there is a lot of scope for good engineers to be there.
Yes.
So what is the issue relating to civil engineering, which is not so great? It's no use just talking about the great part of civil engineering or the good part of engineering, but not knowing what is the bad part of civil engineering. And what's the bad part of civil engineering? Anybody can tell me about that? Okay.
Oh.
Very simple. Yeah, please.
It's about the less salary that we get.
Sure.
And secondly, for going to civil business, we need a lot of investments. We need a lot of investments to
Yeah,
start.
but I'm looking at it from a different point of view. If you look at qualitatively, sit down, good. If you look at qualitatively, if you talk about other fields of engineering, the quality of delivery to be done has become the best of the world.
Yes.
So the people who work on the other part of the tech which we are talking about are now going overseas, and we get the best engineers, whether in NASA, whether in Microsoft, or in all the other companies, we get the best in the world. So what's happening in civil engineering as far as India is concerned? You take the roads in Mumbai are concerned, you have to look for potholes. Who's responsible for bad roads? Who makes buildings which leak? Who makes buildings which fall down? Which makes buildings which crack? Which makes the delivery of goods there? And who is responsible for not so good work that is taking place? And that's where we have to wake up as civil engineers and say, how is it that we can make quality of goods better? If you travel to different parts of the globe, why go very far? Let's go to Dubai. And you will see that the same engineers who are working here, when they're going over there, are making better quality buildings. So we have a challenge over here. We as civil engineers, you as civil engineers to become and go out in the world, the prime responsibility is to say, how is it that I can make that paradigm that as good civil engineers, whether coming from IIT or any other colleges in India, will go out into the world and not willing to compromise on the quality of work to be done. And when you want to make good quality, the engineers can make good quality. Look at the cross harbour bridge that is being done. Look at the metro trains which are being now constructed. All these items are good quality work. So it's not that we cannot do it. It's that we do not do it. So one of the first things which I suggest to each person who's coming out of these institutions is to see that you learn how to be having a feeling that when you make a product, you're proud of it.
Yes.
You should say, ये मैंने बनाया. You should come out with that feeling that I have made a good product. It doesn't matter that the owner of the product is someone or the user of the product is someone. If somebody makes a very good auditorium, we don't know who is the person who actually constructed this building. I don't know, you don't know. It's an IIT building, we're very happy about it. But if it's a good quality building, we'll all feel extremely good.
Yes.
And the advantage of it is what you are producing as civil engineers is an asset which remembers forever.
Yes.
And I'll give you a story of my own self. Like our friend did introduction of me, about 15 years ago, 20 years ago, I'd gone to an architectural college and I was also given an introduction. And one of the persons said something different about me. And what did he say? Or she say actually. And she said that everybody creates history. His story or her story, that's history.
Yes.
Your history, his history, my history, that's what we write. But as engineers and developers, we create geography.
Yes.
You make a building as a civil engineer, it is there for 100 years, provided you make it well. So what is it that our responsibility is? That you have given an opportunity to create something. It's not like software which will be changed in the next few years. It is not like some IT idea which disappeared and new technology takes place in it. That building is there, you have constructed it, be proud about what I have done. So many of my buildings in Bombay, which is across the road, has been made 25 years ago or 30 years ago. People go there and they say, how old is this building? And if you go and look at it, something will say 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And these buildings are 35 years old. We have done almost 6,000 apartments in Bombay. 6,000 apartments, residential. We've done separately for commercial. Do you know what I can proudly say about my 6,000 apartments? Not a single building leaks. It's not about it, and I'm a chartered accountant by qualifications, but I have great civil engineers working with me, like you people will become, and you should be proud of the fact that this is there. You work on go to Mumbai roads which are there. Why do we find so many short roads? You go to Dubai, you go to other countries in the world, you go to any country of the world. Of course, we have heavy rains, and that's one of the complications which take place. But there are many countries in the world where we have heavy rains, but there are no potholes on the road. Who's responsible for that? The quality of construction, the quality of delivery, what is it so important? Hence, when you want to look up to a line of thinking, a technology, an idea which is there, one of the first and most important things as civil engineers to do is to promise yourself, not to promise me, not to promise your teachers, not to promise your institution, not to promise anybody else, not to promise India, but to promise yourself that when you make any building, or you are responsible for construction, or you are responsible for any development that you do, at the end of 5 years, you should be proud of it, so you can talk to your friend, you can talk to your spouse, you can talk to your parents, you can talk to your children and say, "Ye building maine bana." That is the thing that you have to have. It's not important who owns the building. It's not important who lives in the building. It could be a hospital, it can be a school, it can be an institution like IIT, it can be anything in the world. It doesn't matter what it is. But it could be a clock tower, it can be a gate, it can be anything. But if you commit to yourself that I am going to make a good building, that is a commitment that you should do for anything and everything that you do as a professional, good civil engineer. So that's the bottom line of the whole thing. What does Prime Minister Modi constantly say? हमारा देश सबसे आगे रहेगा. हमारे जो मकान बनाएंगे वो सबसे बेहतरीन होगा. हमारे जो मेडिकल होगा वो सबसे अच्छा होगा. हम पूरे विश्व में आगे आने वाले हैं. हमारे पास तरक्की होने वाली है. How can we become so great if people in our country are not going to commit themselves to greatness? So each one of you have to promise yourself, not me, promise yourself that when we grow up and we go out into the world, our promise will be that we will be good at whatever we do and whatever we deliver. It doesn't matter what you deliver. Whether you're building a road, whether you're building a bridge, whether you're building a tower, or you're building ground floor structures, or you're making a stormwater drain, or you're creating an irrigation dam, it doesn't matter what you do. So please remember, my young friends, that that is the basis of what you do. Why somebody said that in IT it is different. It's because the IT segment of our country benchmarks with the best in the world. Are we in civil engineering benchmark the quality of our buildings to be the best in the world?
No.
The answer is no. Clear no. So, if you benchmark yourself to be the best in the world, then people will look up to you. They will pay you more. They will give you a raise faster. Because all the other civil engineers are not so good. The moment you are recognized that you do better quality work, so why do they buy from Hiranandani and they don't buy from other builders so much? Somebody talked, a professor, teacher spoke over here, and he spoke about unsold inventory. We don't have any unsold inventory. Zero. Why have we got unsold inventory? Because the quality of the goods are not good, or there is no market study for the type of product that is required. If I make a product, whatever the product is, it can be a shirt, it can be a pant, it can be a tie, it can be a belt, it can be a dress, it can be any item which you make. But if you have not done proper study of the market of it, you will have unsold inventory to do. You see many of the institutions and developers who put products into the market, they get sold tomorrow. Why? One, they have a good brand name. There is trust in the marketplace for those developers. They believe that it is going to come true, that their earlier commitment to the marketplace was correct, and that you can believe it. Our company has been working for close to 40 plus years. People believe that we are going to complete our project. People believe that they can trust us with their money. People believe that we will make quality goods. People believe that the quality of life in the products that we create are going to be very good. and you will be happy to stay in the complexes that we do, similar to what we are doing in Powai. So we are continuing to grow irrespective of good market or bad market. We are still growing as a company. Maybe we have hiccups in the way, but we are still growing. So Powai, for instance, as a township is 250 acres. Thane as a township, if some of you may have seen it, is 350 acres. And now we are coming up with a third township at Panvel, which is 500 acres. So it will be twice the size of Powai is the next project that we are launching. In the next 1 month, we are going to launch 1 million square feet in one project at Panvel, just one project. So, to answer your question directly, that yes, there will be unsold product. It doesn't matter what you are doing. You're talking about real estate. But if you make any other product, you make a shirt, but that shirt is not in demand of the type of shirt which is required in the market, or the price is not suitable, the shirt will be unsold. Similarly, in the case of homes, there is an unsold inventory because you have not benchmarked and studied the marketplace, and that is the difficulty which you have for the purposes of doing what we are doing. So, I want to share a few statistics for you which I think will be useful to give you an idea. The first statistics is that the GDP of India over now is around 3.5 trillion. And real estate is about 7 to 8% of the total GDP today of India, which is a very big number. But let me tell you that, let's finish this statistics first. But in 2030, the Prime Minister has targeted GDP growth which will come to 5 trillion, right from 3.5 trillion to 5 trillion. And in this part of it, real estate will be 20% of the GDP. So the growth of real estate in the next 10 years or 5 years or 7 years is going to be upwards of 15% in order to meet it. And this statistic is given by Mr. Amitabh Khan, the ex-vice chairman of Niti Aayog, who has given this statistic. So the growth of GDP, just to give you the people and confidence that real estate and infrastructure growth in this country is huge and humongous, and there is no question about that part. Let's look at the second statistics, which is extremely important, and that is the budget 2023 given by Nirmala Sitharaman ji in the budget of this year in February. She has allocated the highest ever, which is 10 lakh crores, big amount of money, let me tell you. I've never thought that India would be budgeting such large amounts of money for the purposes of infrastructure. So we have 10 lakh crores of rupees, which is going to be for the purposes of the budget of 2023-24 in the infrastructure. It's all civil engineering. All infrastructure in India is civil engineering. So whether it's roads, whether it's railways, whether it's ports, whether it's shipping, whether it's railway stations, whether it is multimodal transport in terms of water transport or anything, it's all going to be civil engineering back to see that all these things are really going to grow in a manifold way. So irrespective of what somebody says or somebody feels, there is two institutions, the Niti Aayog, the Finance Minister of India, the Prime Minister, to do it. Let's take the last few years. Another figure of the budget is that under the PMAY scheme, which is the Prime Minister's Awas Yojana for housing in India, this year they have budgeted a humongous figure of 47,000 crores. Believe you me, it's a big amount of money. And that itself is on housing alone. And the target of housing to be completed by the end of this year for affordable housing under the PMAY scheme will cross 1.1 crore houses. Now, we think that everything is satisfied. It's not. Because simply the city of Bombay itself, we have it. As I mentioned to you before, we have 190 kilometers and we are adding 330 kilometers of metro in the next 2 years, which itself indicates how much opportunity is there in the civil engineering space that really is going to do great. Of course, just to give you an idea of the regulatory mechanism which has come into place is the Real Estate Regulatory Act. And you must know about it because in earlier times, the developers could say anything कि हम इधर कुतुब मीनार बनाने वाला है, इधर ये ताजमहल बनाएगा, ये कराएगा, and you wanted to sell it, and they made fools out of people. Now the Real Estate Regulatory Act is very clear. You have to register your project. You have to give transparently all the details about the project. The size of the project, the carpet area of the project, the time frame in which you're going to complete the project, what is the funding requirement for the project, whatever it is. And every agreement and advertisement must give a reference of what the RERA regulation number is, and that is available on the website of the regulatory authority. Maharashtra government has a very, very proactive regulatory authority, and over a period of time, huge amount of work is being done in this particular sphere in order to learn these parts of it. Well, I must also share with you, and since you're coming from very illustrious institutions for civil engineering, that there are a couple of things which are really taking space on the front line. And that is really the action of interdisciplinary learning, which is now working in all spheres of education. So you have to have cross-learning in terms of all these activities are done. Maybe before I end, I will give you some of the ideas of what is happening in terms of interdisciplinary work, that as a civil engineer, you should also have some knowledge on technology. As a civil engineer, you should also know certain things about project management and the new techniques of project management. As a civil engineer, you should also be familiar with what happens on the sites. As a civil engineer, you should also have a good understanding of building materials. And the best thing of all would be if you can actually, before you get into life, to actually visit sites where construction is taking place and actually imbibe not only the fact of the theory of civil engineering, but also to imbibe the practical issues that take place on the sites which are there, and those are the things which I think is extremely important. Over a period of time, there has to be a huge amount of digital technology adopted in real estate. You're going to see and learn, and that is why I'm saying you need to pick up new ideas of learning, which may not be the part of your syllabus, but actually you need to get into it. You're now going to look at metaverse, and this is going to become a very important part of it in the next couple of years. You have to get into some ideas of machine learning. You have to think of certain lines of artificial intelligence. You will have to work on certain items of data analysis. You will have to work on virtual reality. You will have to work on home automation. Why am I saying all this? I'm a bloody civil engineer. ये सब तो हमारे विचार के बाहर है. You know, when things are changing in the marketplace very rapidly, all these new ideas and thoughts are imperative. Some people say, choice है ना, मेरे syllabus में तो नहीं है, इसलिए मेरा choice है ये सीखना है या नहीं सीखना. There's no choice. If you want to be a good civil engineer, you can perfect your engineering, civil engineering. But if you want to be a great civil engineer, you cannot stop there. You have to see that all the new technologies which are taking place in the marketplace, you're familiar with. Get so many online courses which are now available. If that's not available with you here or in part of your syllabus, please get into it as quickly as possible. Because if you're not proficient into all these new things which are taking place, you will be out of date before you start your career. Because a lot of people are going to be there who will be internationally proficient into all these subjects of digital technology. And some people think it's a choice. It's not. We have to learn a lot of new things. I'm only 73 years old last week. And I believe you me, there's not a single day or a single week in my life, for sure, that I don't learn something new. Can I repeat that? There is not a single week in my life that I don't learn something new. So if I tell you the number of things that I learn something new every day, we are going to do a project in Pune. Okay? So last week we decided, I bought the land some time back, it was pre-COVID, and I said let's start working on it. So I said, okay, what was the position 3 years ago? Because that was the last time I reviewed that project. Because we were looking at other projects. So there, and I started reviewing it. So first thing I found out, and I said, all right, so what's the positioning of this project? So they said, this is outside Pune, so you have to not look at the high end part of the project. So it's little outside, हटके है जगह. तो वहाँ अमीर लोग नहीं आते, मतलब ज़्यादा expenses घर हम नहीं ले सकते. So I had to market position that way. That was 3 years ago when I reviewed it 3 years ago. I put some people on the job. We went on the net. I said, collect all information and data about all this. All right. So we picked up all the data. We suddenly found 2 projects of high end in that area. And we are known for high-end projects. But I thought that location was low-end. Even me as a developer with 40 plus years of experience have to learn that something new is happening. So we went there, and tomorrow is Sunday. I'm going to Pune. I'm going to visit all the sites in that area, including that part of it. Because I'm booked for the next 21 days. So I changed my Sunday and I'm going tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock and I'm going to visit all these sites, and in the meantime we have worked on the data and we're going to reposition this entire project completely different. It's now not going to be the low end, it will be the mid and high end. And I'm going to make a golf course and a country club also.
Wow.
Now, what does it mean? It means 2 साल के अंदर, 3 साल के अंदर इतना परिवर्तन आ गया कि my whole concept of the project has changed. If I had not bothered to learn, I would have used my knowledge of 3 years ago and made a wrong product. Can you imagine? And after having all the buddhi of 45 years of 40 years plus of working, I'm still making a mistake because I was not ready to learn. Only because I'm able to learn, I will now study the whole thing and make a new product. What am I trying to tell you? My young friends, if you don't keep yourself up to date about knowledge of civil engineering or anything that you learn in your life, you have to update yourself, if not every day, every week. Very tough. If you want to be an ordinary civil engineer with that chalta hai attitude, making buildings which leak, buildings which fall down, roads which have potholes, कोई सीखने की जरूरत नहीं, कोई ध्यान देने की जरूरत नहीं. वो चलता है, attitude will continue, and people will not have respect. Your family members will not have respect. क्योंकि क्या बोलेंगे? You can't say ये बिल्डिंग मैंने बनाया जो अभी लीक हो रहा है, ये बिल्डिंग बनाया जो गिर जा रहा है, ये रोड बनाया है जहाँ potholes है. Do you want to be that type of civil engineer? Yes, no?
No.
If you don't want to be that type of civil engineer, you must take pride in whatever you do. You must say, I will make the best. And I will not compromise as far as the work is concerned. I will pay attention to it, I will learn, I will keep on learning new things in life, whichever is necessary for making a product the better that I can possibly do. And once you get into a habit of making good and better things and paying attention to whatever you want to do, this is something which is important. Do you want to know the secret of my success?
Yes. Yes.
Really?
Really. Yes.
Will you try and copy it?
Really.
वो बहुत आस्ते से बोल रहा है. I'll show you, tell you a very small secret which will make a big effect in your life. Alright? The secret in my life is very simple. Every time I do the same thing next time, I improve by 1%. How much?
1%.
Only 1%. Suppose I improve myself 1% every day for the next 365 days. How much better will I be at the end of 1 year?
37.
365 times percentage better. If I come and make a speech after 5 years, how much better will be my speech in 5 years than it is today? Multiply तुम लोग कर ली, calculator दिखाओ. Come on, yaar. Yeah, 1,000 times better.
Yes.
The second factor, which is very, very important, is to think out of the box. Everybody thinks of the easy solutions to do that thing. You have to think of the right solutions to it, and you have to look forward to the roadway. Why am I saying that? Very simple. You want to be here only? Chalta hai, chala lo. No problem about it. But if you want to rise, kisne pucha? I want to be a good big project. I want to do good. Somebody said that about me making better project. The question. If you want to be better, and if you in life you want to continue to grow, and you want to do better in life, you got to think out of the box. कि सब लोग ये करते हैं, मैं इससे अच्छा क्या बना सकता हूँ और उसको कोशिश करके करना है. I must make better than that. And you know what is the result of that? Hiranandani, who started with 2 lakhs of rupees, today is in a billionaire list of things over there, because we kept on improving and improving and improving as far as that is concerned, and I have come to where I am today. But I can give you a better example than Hiranandani. Who is the better example than Hiranandani? And the name is known to all of you.
Ratan Tata.
One good name, but he came from an elitist family. Sadhguru is one of them. Any other names?
Narendra Modi.
Narendra Modi. वो सिर्फ चाय वाला था. चाय वाला था. आप और हम चाय वाला होंगे ना, तो हम चाय वाला, अच्छा चाय वाला बनेंगे, बड़ा चाय वाला बनेंगे. ज्यादा में ज्यादा हम रेस्टोरेंट बनाएंगे यार, उससे बड़ा हमको बनने की क्या जरूरत है? वो चाय वाला moved up the value chain, thought out of the box, moved to the next level. अच्छा चाय वाला बना. उसके बाद में वो पॉलिटिक्स ज्वाइन किया, पॉलिटिक्स में अच्छा बना. धीरे धीरे वो मुख्यमंत्री बना गुजरात का. वहाँ संतुष्ट नहीं था. He was not happy. He became chief minister. Then he rose to become prime minister. And now today, he is not satisfied with being prime minister. He wants to be a leader of the world.
Yes.
He meets every politician of the world and moves forward on it. अरे यार, चाय वाला हमारे देश में प्राइम मिनिस्टर बन सकते हैं, तो आप लोग तो उससे ऊपर है ना?
Yes.
कि नहीं? कोई चाय तो बेच नहीं रहा है ना तुम्हारे में से. सबको घर है, घर में घर है, सब लोग के पास है कि नहीं? किसके पास घर नहीं है? सबके पास है. सबके फैमिली के पास घर है. और आप यहाँ से यहाँ पहुँच सकते हैं, तो आप कहाँ नहीं पहुँच सकते? Of course it's difficult. He does 15 speeches in a day. He travels at night. If he has to go abroad, he will never spend his time and waste his time. He doesn't work on the plane, he does work on the ground. He prepares for every speech he does. He's well prepared for everything that he has done. He is absolutely meticulous, he's very particular. He's Prime Minister, why does he need to do all that? But फिर भी वो चाहता है कि मैं सबसे अच्छा Prime Minister बनूं. So my friends, what am I sharing with you? The two secrets that I've shared with you. One, you have to improve yourself 1% every day. If you do that, you can be a miraculous man. In the end of life, you will be shocked as to where and how much you have achieved in your life in time. It's not only about money. Some people think the growth is only in terms of money. It's not. There is so much more than just money which is important in life, and you will learn that later. Of course, the first stages of life, money becomes extremely important because you need to have a living wage and all that stuff. So at your age, yes, it's fine to work on it, but at the end of the day, it's not. There are so many other things, much more to do it. The second, the will, the mind, passion, to move up the value chain, to do something different, to be aspirational, to do good. And it could be charity, it can be so many other things. It doesn't have to be only the monetary and business part of it is with it. Like somebody mentioned about Sadhguru, it's not about money. It's about his contribution to society in terms of whatever it is that is being done, and it is something which is there. I also wanted to share with you, because we are talking on the real estate side, that there is a huge metamorphosis which has taken place in the funding which is taking place in the real estate. In the good old days, when we wanted to do infrastructure projects, there was no money. The state would say, "Hamare paas paise nahi hai." Private sector would say, they don't have enough equity and capital. Today, let me share with you, for real estate and infrastructure, there is no limit to the amount of money that is available to us for real estate. No limit whatsoever. So you have banking giving you money, you have FDI which is investing into real estate, there are REITs which are structures which are there now created, which is doing real estate investments that take place. There are various other opportunities for the purposes of funding. Of course, you must have heard about so many real estate and infrastructure companies also being listed in the marketplace. So when people talk about investment into real estate, talk about startups. Startups are so many. In my good old days, nobody would give any money to a startup. Today, when you pick up ideas and technology and bunch it together, you create a startup. So you have idea and services in the housing sector, housing.com, various other startups are there. The services element on those things, combined with technology, if you combine these two, you can get a good startup which is there, and lots of funds are available. In my time, we didn't have that kind of infrastructure to do. Let's talk about Mumbai's infrastructure which is there. All this money was not earlier available. Today, Japanese funding, JICA, has invested 70% of all this money, which is 70% of 3 lakh crores, which is about 2 lakh crores is funded by JICA at 0.1% interest for 50 years with a 15-year sabbatical. So that the capital is to be paid later. Why am I saying it in there? Because people do believe that there is no money going to be in this sector. The answer is no. There is money. The question is, you have to learn how to raise this money, how to get these funds and flows which are available, and so you can do it. Because that was one of the questions which was raised at my initial reaction from what you to do. So it's not about that part of it. I'm also very happy to share with you that a large number of women are now into the real estate sector, which was not so earlier. Whether it is civil engineering, though I see, of course, there are men, mostly men, but I think there are lots of women, and I'm really complimentary to each one of you women, all very good. You have gender, this thing. Our country is known for gender equality, and if you look at it, the first, we have had a prime minister who's a woman, We have had a president who has been a woman. The United States of America, after 250 years, still does not have a woman as a president till today. So we are in gender equality ahead of the United States of America, though we are projected the other way around, that we are not equal. In reality, we are more equal than the United States of America in terms of gender equality, and in many cases, our country is far ahead in all these aspects of life, but it is up to the women to grab that opportunity. So many of the women feel, oh, civil engineering is not really our cup of tea. And I'm very happy that so many girls are here, and I'm really complimentary to each one of them and to the institutions that project that thought process to do it. Why am I saying it? Because I want to tell you that in the good old days, civil engineering was only a male kind of arena. It's no more so, and certainly not in India. So whatever you may say, I think the opportunity of civil engineering is equally good for women as it is for men, and we have several women in our civil engineering team. We have across the board a lot of women working in our company, and even heads of departments. Many of them are civil engineers today. So, I'm sorry, there are women today in our various departments that work in our company. So we have kind of a base that is there. We have a lot of opportunity of the growth in the country. We do see an opportunity in terms of rental housing. So various aspects of it are going to take place. Investments into rental housing are going to grow into various areas of thought which is going to be there. And so many other aspects of real estate which is very, very interesting to say the least is happening in the next couple of years. The infrastructure story is as strong, if not more strong, in terms of India to be concerned. So at 35 kilometers of national highway per day that we construct, I'll repeat, 35 kilometers of national highway per day India is constructing is the fastest. Also, I must tell you that if the GDP of the country has to become double digit, which is more than 10%, the only way we can do it is to have growth of housing and infrastructure projects. And if we have to cross the GDP of various other concerns, at least the per capita income, it's going to be real estate and infrastructure that is going to be there. So I know too many statistics and all that, and I can bore you with all of them for a long period of time. But what I wanted to share with you was a couple of things, which is the future of civil engineering is large. Number two, you have the capability. You know, जब वो civil engineering इधर होता है ना, तो उसको ऊपर लाने में आसान है. यहाँ हो जाते हैं ना, तो उसको ऊपर करने में कठिन होता है. So you have an opportunity to improve civil engineering in the country by saying that I will not work at that level of civil engineering, but I will work at this level of engineering, which will make me proud of the country. If I'm making a building, I want to make the best building of it all, and I want to see that the building lasts for 100 years, and it is a good engineer. And I must share again with you that the secret of all people who are very, very, very successful, like the Prime Minister of your country, of our country, my country, it is his desire to have a purpose in life, to be able to improve every day, and to continue to that growth and aspiration to make it into something which is there. And when you have the thing. And the last, which I want to say before I put across questions in life, is that please enjoy the journey of your life rather than the end of the success. So many people say that मेरे जब भी IIT से मैं पास होगा ना, तभी मैं बहुत खुश हो जाऊँगा. Which means the 4 years that you're going to spend or 5 years that you're going to spend in IIT, you will be suffering. So the idea is please enjoy all the 5 years that you have done and also the time when you are successful. Somebody told me, you know, कि मैं Mount Everest पहुँच जाऊँगा ना, तभी मैं और खुश हो जाऊँगा. I was thinking कि वो 6 साल काम करेगा Mount Everest पहुँचने के लिए. He has to develop his muscle, he has to do hiking, he has to do smaller hills, he has to get the equipment, he has to prepare himself or herself. And after the end of 5 years, go to Mount Everest. And when you reach Mount Everest, you're there for only 1 hour max. वो चढ़ा लगाते और आ जाते तो बहुत खुश हो गए. So can you imagine this 5 years of preparation is a pain. Don't do that in life. Enjoy every moment of it. So I'm enjoying every moment with you today. Thank you.